Now, before we kick things off, we wanted to kick things off a little bit differently. We wanted to make some big announcements. We have a lot to celebrate, and we wanted you all to be part of that excitement. So over the past few months, few weeks alone, there's been a lot of big things that have come out. So we're celebrating, and we want you all to be part of that excitement. So I'd like to welcome a few of my colleagues to the stage who are going to be talking about some big, substantial releases that we've had over the last little bit, and also a huge surprise. So without much further ado, I would like to pass things over to Dominique. Welcome, Dom.
I am on. Good morning. Good morning. This song is fitting because we are having a launch party to kick off today. I am so excited to be here, so excited to talk to you and have a celebration of elevation this morning. So here at Goodshuffle, you all may have noticed we have launched quite a few features at the top of this year. We want to celebrate that with you all. We launched these features with you all in mind, so we want to celebrate those features with you. So essentially, how this will work today. First, we're going to talk Dispatch. Dispatch is the newest feature, but then we have an even newer feature than that, you all may have noticed. Last week, we released barcoding, but it doesn't stop there. There were some other new things that have launched since we last had our user summit last year, and I'm excited to announce I have a surprise for you all here and watching at home. So to talk Dispatch, I will bring up our Senior Customer Success Manager, Makata.
All right, hello everybody, good morning. All right, so to kick things off, you might be wondering, what is the deal with Dispatch, and why are we talking about delivery planning first thing in the morning? Well, for a lot of our clients, this is where chaos can thrive. We've heard stories of sticky notes, printed maps, spreadsheets, constant calls to drivers, basically a logistical headache that happens every single event day. So today, we're diving into how Dispatch is changing that, so let's get into it. So first, I want to start off with what we've heard from our clients. So these are actual quotes. Some of this may sound very familiar to many of you. We've heard that many of you are spending hours printing out delivery sheets and putting them on a bulletin board, being unsure of your cap on deliveries for a given day, having to constantly check in with your drivers on their delivery statuses, and wasting a lot of time backtracking to your warehouse because an item wasn't loaded. With Dispatch, you can say goodbye to this delivery chaos. Dispatch helps you build efficient routes, optimize, I think there's some size changing on the notes here. Awesome. Optimize your gas mileage, track your inventory, and also provide your drivers a clear view into your schedule for the day. By simplifying logistical planning, this helps them save time, reduce stress, and keep your deliveries on track. Dispatch manages the complexities of large-scale drop-offs and pickups, often spanning multiple vehicles and schedules. And it's seamlessly integrated with your inventory in Goodshuffle Pro, so you always know what's being delivered, picked up, and exactly where it's going. So let's talk about how it actually works. The drag and drop interface provides you a clear and accessible view of your routes and schedules, plus giving you instant access to critical details like your pull sheets, drive times, venue info, client contact info, and much more. It also allows you to predictably and confidently plan out not just your schedule for today, but also weeks and months ahead. Whether you're handling a single van or multiple trucks, Dispatch makes the process simple and stress-free. Another very exciting aspect of Dispatch is our auto route feature. So with auto route, you can use the click of a button to look at all of your stops for a given calendar date and have them auto-calculated and scheduled for you in your Dispatch tool. So this is here to help your team save much time on figuring out exactly where each vehicle needs to be, how much time will be needed on site, and this way you can really focus on the task at hand, which is running the event itself. So don't just take it from me. Here's what our clients are saying. We have Melissa Hensley from All Event Rental, who I hope all of these folks are tuning in so they can hear all of their shout outs. She mentioned how helpful it is to see what inventory is going out on each stop to properly plan for timing for drop-offs and pickups. Brandon Sayre from ACC Party Rental mentioned how the system makes it easier for their team to share quick updates on schedule changes to their clients. And Kendra McMasters from Chairs for Affairs said it perfectly. It's not just a tool, it's a stress reliever. This is the kind of impact that we are aiming for. So on the screen here, you can see our QR code. I do recommend scanning it to read some more on dispatch, but what I mostly recommend is setting up some time with your customer success partner. They are going to make sure that you fully understand the capabilities of this tool and how it fits into your business. So we'll be sharing out some resources with the session that will also include a previously recorded webinar that we hosted on dispatch. So definitely recommend tuning in there and booking some time with your customer success partner. But we're not stopping here. Thank you again for tuning in to this portion of Dispatch, but now I'm very excited to hand it over to Anthony, our senior product designer, to talk through our next big feature, barcoding.
Thank you. Hello. Great, wonderful. It is so good to see you all. And so many familiar faces. We've done site visits together. We have done Zoom calls here in this room. It honestly just warms my heart, and it's so great that you guys are all here with us in person today. But for those who I have not Zoomed with yet, my name is Anthony Albrin. I am a part of the Goodshuffle Pro product team. I am a senior product designer. I've been here for 3 years now. And honestly, it's been a great privilege of mine to work for Goodshuffle Pro. But it's a greater honor and a great opportunity to share with you today our barcoding solution. So where did we start? Where we always start. We start with the research. We have done dozens of interviews. We have done site visits here in the DMV area. We have combed through 300 plus insights in Intercom, and we've cultivated like 2 main themes that just continue to emerge in regards to barcoding. One, perhaps the most obvious, a better way of identifying inventory. But the second one was how much vendors were spending on these solutions that weren't necessarily serving them, not only in thousands of dollars regarding software and hardware, but also the time and money it takes to maintain these solutions. So what all this meant, ultimately, is that we needed 2 products to address these issues. We needed inventory ID and advanced barcoding. If you want help IDing items in your warehouse faster and easier, then Inventory ID is a great option for you, and it's free. It is live in Goodshuffle Pro right now. The other is a paid solution for barcoding, giving you additional level of power and control over your asset management far beyond what we can currently do in digital pull sheets. With Inventory ID, all your items and their ID number will be linked to a barcode in Goodshuffle Pro automatically. So if you're in Goodshuffle Pro right now, go to Inventory, click on Manage Layout, and you can drag a barcoding column to your inventory. You'll be able to print and scan that barcode to view and to very soon edit any inventory item in your warehouse. No more contacting and waiting on a third party for print labels. Sorry, I'm getting a little echo. No more missing out on additional information from your items. You have all the control of your inventory, as you should. And all this functionality is wrapped in this optimized mobile experience, connecting you to your project list, but from a jobs to be done perspective. Projects will showcase information that you actually need on the job, your fulfillment progress, location, job documentation, and much more. Advanced barcoding. This is actually what I'm most excited about. Our engineers have been working extremely hard to bring you this next-gen technology that we're calling Matrix Scan. Matrix Scan will recognize all the barcodes in the camera's view, But more than that, it will tell you what you can do with them. So if you're looking at this left video, you'll recognize that there are green target areas. That is the camera picking up all the inventory items and scanning them in. If these items were not on the project, they're actually gonna glow red, letting you know that they're on another project or not supposed to be a part of this one. Honestly, it's kind of like waving a magic wand. Believe it or not, we have a makeshift warehouse downstairs. We have barcoded our chairs, our speakers, I can't wait for you guys to go see it. We have barcoded absolutely everything. We've tested it in our environment just so we can make sure we're feeling the pain and understanding where you all are coming from. And upon returning items from their job, you'll have the ability to check it in or even set it aside right there on the spot without worrying about what project this item is coming back from, because we're going to track everything for you. It's going to be in your scan log history as well as on your contract, so you can focus on the task at hand. As proud as we are of barcoding, we understand that the job's never fully done, right? We understand that some folks may want smaller and larger labels than the ones we are providing currently. Some may want to not scan 50 uplights. Some may, I don't know, want a mobile optimized digital pull sheet that can categorize by category. But what we don't always understand is how you all are using the features that we build. I'm gonna leave you with this one last sentiment. It's from one of my favorite inspirations. My coworkers know this about me. Brene Brown, she always encouraged folks who are wanting to learn and grow to jump in the arena with her. And so today I want to say the same thing to you. Jump in the arena with me, with us. Play with barcoding. Tell us more about what you want more of. Tell us where we can improve. And together we can build something that's more impactful. Barcoding is live for everyone's account today and free to use for a limited time. If you have any questions, please contact your customer success representative. Thank you all. I'm going to pass it back to Dominique.
How do I follow that up? I didn't come with a quote. Okay. And I usually have a quote. That's the crazy part. I always have a quote. But as I mentioned earlier, this is a celebration of elevation. So barcoding and dispatch were this year, if you all, that's crazy to think about. But I also want to highlight that there were quite a few things since we last met during last year's user summit. There are some big features that we dropped, and I want to just highlight a few, starting with the card reader. The card reader was a huge, huge milestone that we hit because it allowed the option for in-person payments. I think I saw Will from Brooke. Yes, we went to see Brooke, and one of Brooke's offices, they essentially do almost all in-person, correct? Pretty much. Yeah, about half. And we went in person, and I remember talking to your brother, Ty, talking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know this thing is coming, but I can't tell you yet. But with that, we were able to allow for those walk-in payments. I talked to a lot of folks who talked about, hey, holidays are coming. We've got people running in for Thanksgiving dinner, and they just need 10 plates, and I want to be able to just check them out so they can go. So we added that. So with the card reader, for those who do not know, you have that contactless payment. So it has that chip, that Apple Pay, that Google Pay is available. There are also lower transaction fees. So you get that 2.7% with that 30 cents. So those doing high volume, you get that advantage of lower fees. And then there's that security with those chip payments. So keep that in mind. So this is just one way that we were modernizing since we last met at the last user summit. But we also modernized the inventory tab. So many of you may not recall what the inventory tab used to look like, or maybe you signed up and you only know what it looks like today. But one thing I will say is that this overhaul was huge. The entire way that it looks, we added sticky headers was a big one we were hearing from a lot of folks of, I want to make sure my columns are always in line when I am scrolling. Inline edits for those folks who are like, I just need to make quick changes to an item, update the price. That's there. The big one for me as an onboarding specialist was those bulk editing options. So it's like, I got all my inventory in, but we're at the end of the year. I need to update pricing. The ability to bulk update price, bulk update tags for your website, all of that became available with the modernization of our inventory tab. But we didn't stop there. Since we last met, we also added everyone's favorite, flexible payment options. So for those who don't know, my background is actually in event planning. I'm only 21, but I spent almost 12 years in event planning. But corporate planning comes to mind when I thought about it and when the team talked a lot about the flexible payment options, and I would often hear folks say, I take a deposit, but I do that final payment after the event. And both corporate planning and corporate catering, I'm like, oh, actually, I do that too also, where things happen, there are changes, so we want to finalize that payment afterwards. So you can now do that. You can set up that deposit and set the final payment after event, prior to the event as well as day of. But we didn't stop there. For those folks who were looking for flexible payment options for your customers, you can also now have those installments as well as those custom payment options. So one of our colleagues talked a lot about cash flow when it comes to that, being able to predict, okay, this person is paying over a couple of months or bi-weekly. So being able to have that cash flow prediction using these flexible payment options. We also introduced that Google Pay and Apple Pay option. So when you're sending those contracts out, your folks are on their phones, they're able to make that payment right there. So these mobile wallet options help meet that demand for those folks that are signing their contracts on the go. Our big thing is the client experience for you all, because we know that's what matters, is how you are servicing your clients, so that's where it starts for us. And with that in mind, I have an announcement. I'm gonna sit for this one. I got a story. So I'm gonna tell a story. And so I first wanna start that the team here at Goodshuffle, we are always listening, but we are also learning. One of our values is rooted in learn from everything. And with any innovation, we want to ensure that it is done intently and with you, the event pro, in mind. And I can speak to that because I was once an event pro. I was like I said, I'm only 21, but that's several years in the industry. I was an event planner for 10 years. I worked at a multiplex as a venue coordinator, and prior to Goodshuffle, I actually was in corporate catering. And through that time, I've seen all of the good, and we know there is also the not so great when it comes to events. And it's funny, I've been rewriting this, and I actually can think specifically of one client where there was a huge deal about event insurance. And when I first wrote the script for this, I was like, let me keep it very generic, but I think we've all had that story of that one client that you need them to understand why they need this thing for their event. And event insurance always stands out for one client in particular. They were a bride, and all of you who work in the DMV, you know, historic venues in the DC area specifically are very strict about the event insurance policies that you have when you are doing events. And so very early on, I had to learn about how to talk about event insurance with my customers. The type of events varied, but the fact remained true. At some point, your client is going to need some type of event insurance. And it was always important to teach the customer that, hey, yes, the person you're renting from, they have their insurance, but that insurance does not cover you. That insurance is for their business, their rentals, so you still need to get that insurance. And then they would ask, well, they're charging me extra for like damages up front, what about that? And it's like, no, that is to protect their business, that is not your event insurance. And so I also explain, hey, vendors take these precautions to protect their business, protect their assets. And again, working in this area, the weather is very predictable, and it's also unpredictable. So they have to take those measures in place because they never think that these things can happen. And some will say these are AI, but I can say I've seen drape catch fire at an event. I've worked at Andrew Mellon Auditorium, and I have seen it happen. I've never had a tent fall on a car, but I have seen uplights start smoking slightly. I have seen a arch fall and almost hit a window, not hit a window, but almost hit a window. And so when it comes to event insurance, the problem is it's complicated and it can be expensive. You all are the pros and you know your clients need that event insurance. You also know that you have the standard damage waivers in place, possibly, but you know there is some risk even with that. Those don't always fully protect you and can often leave businesses vulnerable. So, now stand up. Goodshuffle Pro has a solution, a seamless and affordable option integrated into your current event rental business solution. So we are so proud to announce that Goodshuffle Pro is the first event rental software to streamline your client's ability to purchase event insurance, event-specific insurance, to say, all at no cost to you. So, as of today, event insurance is now available in your account settings and will be rolled out to your clients as well. And you'll be wondering, what does this mean for you? What is this first of a kind, one of a kind, the only to exist event insurance integration? So, after your client completes a payment for their rentals, they'll be given the option to insure their event. They can get a quote, and if approved, they'll be able to purchase the insurance all without leaving that contract that you already are sending. You, as the vendor, will actually also get additionally insured, so you will be listed as additionally insured to the event host policy. That is not a new policy for you. You are just added as additionally insured, and the bonus, you get $10K of inland marine insurance coverage, which we will talk about in a bit. So how does it work? That's all what you all likely want to know. How will it work? I see your face. How will it work? So the integration will be in your settings, and you will essentially be able to toggle on the ability to offer insurance under the integrations tab in your account settings. And from there, your clients will see the option to insure their events once they make that payment. You do still have full control. So from the project level or the company level, you are able to toggle on and off whether or not you are offering that insurance. And those quotes start at $99 based on their event details. Now let's talk about just how monumental, again, this first time this has been done with any event rental solution. I want to start with talking key differences. I'm going to sit back down about this because this is the part where I thought about the customer that I had. So there is the standard event host insurance, which is what we know we have to push our clients to get. So as a planner, I would have conversations very early once I understood how important event insurance was for them, especially my indoor-outdoor clients. Again, the weather. So I learned very early that it had to be working to their budget. I had to talk, hey, what is your budget? What does that look like? And I would then send links, and I would send multiple, and they would have to go do the different research on their own to figure out what they need, essentially. It's not as fun as picking out your rentals, picking out your florals, figuring out your lighting. So they save it to the last minute. I'd continue the process as normal, and they would not get the insurance until the last minute. Now imagine if they booked that rental company, that lighting company, and they were able to just get that insurance at the same time. I know for me personally, that would have saved me hours of reminding them to purchase the event insurance. The important thing to remember with event host insurance is that that only covers the client. The client's event is protected, the client is protected, but that's all. The vendors they contract, they are not covered under those event host insurance policies. Events covered, you may also have your own insurance, but everything at that venue that happens, the client, all covered. Your items, they are not covered under that event host insurance. Now, you most likely have a general liability policy, whether it's for, again, I emphasize outdoor events because those are the ones that scare me. So you have a policy that covers your rentals, but what happens when you've now rented those rentals out? What happens when your client now has those rentals? Goodshuffle Pro has created the first rental insurance integration that's bridging the gap between event host insurance and your general liability. The known unknowns that leave your business vulnerable are now covered. Furthermore, you're positioned as a one-stop shop for rentals and insurance. So let me explain a little bit more. So the event insurance integration provides your client with the option to purchase that one-time event insurance. Again, not a new policy, rather an advantageous opportunity to be a central point of truth for both the rentals and the coverage needed for those rentals. Once the client has purchased the insurance through the integration, you are automatically added as additionally insured, meaning you are covered if you get pulled into a claim for any reason, specifically if something the host did. Now let's talk about that $10K inland marine insurance. That is at no cost to you. That is a part of you being added as additionally insured. And it is not a new policy. You are not the policy holder. One thing that was really emphasized as I was learning more about it is that if you need to file a claim, you're not paying a deductible. A lot of times, what I'm continuing to learn as I learn more about insurance is it's risky when you're a rent rental business. When you file a claim through your insurance, you run the risk of your rates going up. You run the risk of being dropped. You don't have to worry about that with this because you are not the policy holder. Think about the times that you maybe had to chase someone down because you charged the card for the damage waiver and card's not working all of a sudden, client isn't answering. You can now file that claim without paying that deductible. I'll say that one more time. You can now file that claim without paying that deductible. You're covered every time your clients add that insurance. No new policy. Your business, your items, your assets, and your client, all covered. As I said, the event insurance is now available in your accounts, and we will notify you once it is available, a few days before, apologies, we'll notify you a few days before it is rolled out to your clients.
All right. Thank you so much, Makadam, Anthony. We appreciate you.